Okay, so it's been a couple days since we had the release from DJI and from GoPro, their latest, greatest action cams. And it seemed like everybody on YouTube, all the content creators, were just chomping at the bit to tell you how great these two cameras were and all the new features that they have. Well, I've got some thoughts, and I think you're going to find them pretty interesting. So let's get into it. Hey there, everybody. This is Mike, and this is Low Def Media. And today we are going to be talking about the most recent action cam releases from DJI and from GoPro. Now, and I'm sure you know, but if you haven't heard, DJI came out with their latest Dji Osmo Action 3. Now, they've had two previous iterations, hence the 3. The first one was more of your traditional GoPro looking camera. It got a lot of attention and it is a fan favorite. Then they had the second iteration, which was a little more modular and it more resembled kind of like Insta360's R and RS, where you can put different pieces together to make the camera that you want. Well, the 3 went back to the original kind of platform, and it looks more like your traditional GoPro action camera with the lens, the front-facing screen, and the screen on the back. So kind of got back to what people expected out of an action cam. Now, GoPro made almost a carbon copy of their GoPro 10. And so the 11, same size, has some minor updates here and there, mostly software. And I think it's still using the same processor, but inside it's using a bigger sensor. So the sensor's bigger from last year, and so it does allow the camera to do a few things better than it did before. All right, so that's kind of like the background. You've got two action cameras that are slightly better than what they were before. Now, I took some notes, and I'm going to look at my notes here real quick because I looked at the website of both companies to try and find where the big differences were between those two cameras. Okay. Now the Osmo Action 3 is $329 and the GoPro Hero 11 is closer to that $500 price point, maybe even $539. Let's do a quick check, find out what the current price is for the GoPro. Okay, according to their website, the GoPro 11 is $549.98 without a subscription. All right, so that's $550 for the GoPro 11. Now, let's look at some specs. Now, the Osmo Action 3, let's see, it has 2 touchscreens instead of just the one that GoPro has. It does 12 megapixel photos. The GoPro 11 does, I think it's 27 megapixels. Let's see. Okay, so the Osmo Action 3 does 4K, 120 frames per second, where the GoPro 11 also does that, but it has the ability to go up to 5.3K, all the way up to 60 frames a second. And the Osmo Action, according to its website, does not have any better resolution on their videos than 4K. All right, now it does allow you to shoot in JPEG and RAW for your photos. So does the GoPro. And let's see, the last thing I thought was very interesting was the time that how long the battery will last. The Osmo Action will last for 160 minutes, where the GoPro didn't even, on its website, didn't even say how long the battery will typically last if you're shooting in, let's say, 1080, 30 or 60 frames a second. So I couldn't find that part. But the GoPro out of the box does have a webcam mode. So that's pretty interesting. And it also has this new feature called Hindsight, which captures 30 seconds of video before you hit record. And you can schedule your captures. So those are some interesting things. And it's not to say that the Action is better or worse than the GoPro. That's not the point of this video. The point is that they made some interesting updates. You know, you could say that they are actually better cameras than the first iteration. But here's where I have some very interesting thoughts. Thinking about who does this really impact? If you really think about who this camera release targets, there's a very small section of the American population, world population for that matter, who really is even interested in the fact that these two cameras were released. Now, I like cameras. I'm a camera, I would say, junkie. I like video, like photography. And so that's probably the demographic they're trying to hit, is someone like me. And I look at this and I say, $550 for a GoPro when I just bought a GoPro 10, let's say a year and a half ago, maybe a year and a half. I would say probably just a year ago that I bought the GoPro 10. Actually, I can tell you exactly when. I went on a vacation to Alaska and I said I needed the GoPro 10 because it had the I could get the Enduro battery for it, which is rated at a lower temperature than the GoPro 7 that I already had. And so I went out and bought it. And so I took that trip in December of 2021 into January of 2022. So that's when I bought it. So it's not even a year old. And that camera was at the same price point. And now you look at the Osmo Action. The one is currently online for the same price, within $10, $15 of the new camera. And if you look at the older camera, the Action 2, it's almost around the same price. So it makes me think, if you're targeting such a very small demographic, a very small sliver of the, let's say, camera enthusiasts who would potentially buy this camera, and you're expecting them to pay $500 or $329, that bothers me. And all the content creators who got their cameras early and are doing all the testing, they'll be the ones to tell you that, oh, this is the updates are so great that you should probably update, you should probably upgrade to the next camera. And that's their job. They're influencers. That's how they make their money. I get it, but that doesn't mean I have to like it, and doesn't mean I have to agree. So here's what I would say instead. And this is where I'm probably out in left field all on my own. My thought is the Insta360 Go 2. And I've got 5 reasons why I think if you're interested in getting an action camera and the $500 or even $300 price point bothers you, the Go 2, I have 5 reasons why the Go 2 is going to be a better purchase for you. Thanks, Mike. I'm out here hiking with my Go 2 screwed onto a selfie stick using the 1/4 mount that's on the bottom of the case. So these are the kind of images you can expect to get. And I am shooting in pro video mode, and so that takes advantage of the 2.7K image quality. And pro video does give you a little bit more control over the quality of your image and allows you to kind of manipulate it in post. So this is the typical audio and video that you'll get. Now, I haven't done a whole lot of processing to it, probably just did a little color correction for parts of it that were maybe overblown. But if you're interested in a Go 2, this is the kind of result that you can expect to get. Let's take a quick pan of where we're at. All right, and now let's show you some other video footage from my hike up the mountain. So as you can see, the Go 2 is a very versatile camera, and at this price point, it's a great value. But let's let Mike tell you more about that. So let's send you back to Mike in the studio. All right, so that was just a little sample footage that I took earlier today while I went hiking just here close to home. And I have taken this camera on similar activities, even on a couple vacations. And what I have found about this camera is that it's very, well, it does a lot of things that I appreciate and that I look for in a camera at a very nice price point. So here are the 5 reasons why I think this could be a good fit for you. Number 1, it's the price. I mean, obviously it's $299 out of the box, and the other cameras are much higher. Number 2, it's versatile and convenient. I mean, it's the size of a thumb. Now, there are 2 different ways you can use this camera, and I'm not going to get into all the nuances about the Go 2. There are plenty of other videos on YouTube that will explain every intricacy when it comes to this camera. What I will tell you is that it's about the size of your thumb, and it's got a nice little lanyard that you can just clip on your shirt, and so you get that FPV view. It's got a ton of mounts. You can put it on your hat. It's magnetic, and so you can put it in all kinds of different places. And because it's small, you can do things like throwing it in a cup while you pour water on it because it is waterproof. And so it's just versatile. It's convenient. It goes places the other cameras can't. And while you can get those other cameras to do similar things, you just have to pay extra money for all the gear to make it do that. So number 1's price. Number 2 is versatility and just how convenient it is. Then number 3, it's just easy. I mean, if you put it on the lanyard by itself, there's only one button and it's the whole face of the camera. So you press it once, and on my camera, the way I have it set up, one button press, it starts the pro video recording. Then I press it again, it stops. If I want to take a picture, I double press, I get a picture, and it's done. The camera turns right off. Now, if I want to press and hold that button, leave it on, then I have 2 other options. I can press the button once for video, press the button twice for a time lapse. And so it's very easy to use, one button. And then it's got a nice little case that you put it in, and you can scroll through your menus there. Now, the only downside is you can't see the images. But because of the way it takes the image, it's unlikely that you're going to miss what it is you're shooting because it's such a wide lens. So, price, versatility, ease of use. Number 4 is the app. When you take your footage and you put it into the the Insta360 app, it's just very easy to use. And so I also have a 360 camera, the X2, and again, it's just got so many features in there that it really does rival the other apps that DJI and GoPro have. Plus, they have a really nice community out there where you can upload your videos and you can share things. And so I find it very easy to use. So I would say number 4 is the app. And lastly, the value. Now, this is different than price. We already know that the price is lower, but if you're getting a rock for $199, yes, it's less expensive, but it's still just a rock. It doesn't do anything. So value, it does so much for that $299. The great value, where the other cameras, they are good cameras, but you have to question their value, especially the GoPro. If you're going to pay $550, is it going to do everything that you need it to do? And is it going to be reliable? And you can watch YouTube. There are people who've complained about, especially back the GoPro 9, where they missed footage. It just didn't record, or it froze up. And I've had my GoPros lock up in the past, or it didn't record audio. And so because they're being asked to do so much, sometimes it can be glitchy. So value, I'm telling you, the Go 2 is an excellent value. So that's my speech for today. That's where I'm at when it comes to these action cameras. I hope you got some value out of that. And if you would, go ahead and hit that like button. And if you're not already, please become a subscriber. It really does help out the channel. And leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you thought of the video, and if you have any questions, or if there were any points that I made that maybe you don't agree with, or maybe you do. But hey, this is Mike. This is Low Def Media. Looking forward to seeing you in the next one.